Hey guys, it's Mark from Earth 7 Outdoors. Welcome back to another episode. Today we are going to do the recap of Stony Lake tournament that was on Sunday. Alright guys, so never been to Stony Lake. I've kind of always wanted to go to Stony Lake. I've heard it's just a nightmare for navigational purposes, but realistically I wouldn't say it was a nightmare. A lot of the stuff, I think, if you how to put this without hurting people's feelings that may have lost their lower end, anything that I personally have seen on the lake for my 9 or whatever hours on it, if you lost your lower end, you kind of got what you deserved. I mean, there wasn't like there was unmarked rocks in the middle of the lake. It was kind of like, alright, well, you're 20 feet from the shoreline, and all of a sudden a giant car-sized rock comes up almost to the surface. So, I mean, if I'm going on pad, I'm going a fair distance away from the islands. Beautiful lake. You know, I tell everyone this at work, and it was like, holy crap, guys, you wouldn't believe this. So Stony Lake, if you don't know, Stony Lake is a really famous lake for, I guess, celebrities have a lot of their mansions or cottages or mansions on the lake. And I always say, you know, it's probably a crappy cottage there is like 2 million, average one's like 5 million. Very nice, pretty mansions on that lake. And it was so crazy because the storm that I got caught in on the long weekend, like May 2-4 of this year, so about a month ago, every other mansion was tarped. Like the roof was like caved in from a giant ass pine tree, or the windows were boarded up when a tree came down. I mean, it was crazy how much damage. I'm like, there has to be $100 million of damage on Stony Lake. Like, this is insane. Anyways, beautiful lake. Visibility was great. The launch was good. So the deal of the day. So I had high hopes. When we started the day, Lionel went to go park the truck, and I was on the boat, and I was like, well, blast off's already happened, so let's cast at the dock. And instantly, we get 12 1/4. Lionel comes back, and I'm like, man, we already only need 4 more fish. I lose like a 2-pounder, like 10 minutes later on the same shoreline. I was kind of upset with myself. I usually don't let them become unpinned like that, but that's the way it goes. So then we decided to hit up some islands and that, and we ran into a couple islands where we were getting bites, but we were just getting like 8, 9, 10-inch dinks. Like, I think I caught a line burner. I caught a line burner, so I had a 12 1/4 and like a 12 1/8. Lionel had like a 13 1/4. And finally, I'm like, we gotta make a move. So we made a move to one of Lionel's spots, and I don't know what happened there, but it turns out we didn't even make it to the spot he thought he had on that lake. He's like, I know a spot. He's like, I got a good spot. And we couldn't find it. He's like, you know what? This isn't the spot. But we had already caught, like, fish at that point. So we ended up going to that spot. He caught like a 2-pound smallmouth. And I caught that big, like, 4 and change smallmouth. And another like 1.5 pound smallmouth, which we probably called later on. And I tried lots of things on that lake. Stony Lake I didn't lose a single lure on sturgeon. I did a lot of retying on Stony. So I tried things like the Ned rig and the drop shot, and I was getting snagged pretty good. Even with the wacky worm, I was getting snagged a fair bit. Go-to color, Big Tex is everything. Not all my fish came on Big Tex, but pretty damn close came to Big Tex. No surprise there with the Mustad Ultra Point wacky worm hook. So after we caught that big one and we had a limit, I think we called out our tiniest little smallmouth. I'm like, you know what? Let's get after some largemouth here. So we went back to the boat ramp and we started fishing the shoreline. Hooked into another like 1.5 pound smallmouth, a couple largemouth. I mean, I caught so many freaking fish. They were like 1.5 pounds. A great fishery, for sure, for a 14, 15-inch bass. Plentiful, for sure. And then the wind picked up pretty good. So what happened there? So then we went to an island, and the wind was pretty good. We ended up going to the island, and like 3 casts on this island, and I hook into like a 2-pound smallmouth. So that thing calls. And then I was like, man, there's all these laydowns from that storm. Like, there's got to be a big largemouth here somewhere. I don't even know how my home lake is going to fish this year with all the laydowns that are going on there. Every single Bancroft lake is going to be like, the bank is going to be rewritten in history, which is, for rich and fame of winning your local clubby, not so good because your honey holes won't be great. I've always found that like shorelines that have like 12 laydowns on them are not as good as a shoreline that has one laydown. I mean, the fish just have no place to centralize. That's my experience. I know just enough to be dangerous. Anyways, we found this little island, a couple hours left, and Lionel went right to the island with Rock Shoal, and he caught like a 2-pounder. So we're calling out again. Then we get to like the tip of the island. There's like a big shoal there, and like 3 or 4 feet of water, and we just started hammering like the 14-inch bass. Then we go around the other side of the island, which I didn't get the footage of this, but where all the laydowns are, I ended up catching like 4 or 5 bass, but just nothing of size. Finally, I hooked into like a 2.5-pound smallmouth for a call. So we ended up having a little bit more weight than I thought we would have, which was good enough for 3rd place. And, craziest time. So we go around the island one more time. And seriously, I'm like, if you look at the end of yesterday's video, you'll see like there's a small little clip at the end and then it's weighing. Small little clip is me. I'm like, all right, Lionel, how much time do you want to give us before we head back in? He's like, 10 minutes. I'm like, all right, well, it's 2:49, weigh-in's at 3, so I'm like, we got 40 seconds to fish here. He's like, okay. And all of a sudden he hooks into another like 2.5-pound smallmouth. So I'm like, Lionel, Lionel's an older guy, so I'm like, Lionel, just get into the boat, start the boat up, I'll deal with this guy. I may have thrown out the wrong fish, and when I'm looking at the fish, I almost pulled the big girl, the one before that. I'm like, ugh, I don't remember seeing this fish here. So I might have cost us 2nd place, but it is what it is. 3rd place is, with that group of anglers, not a huge series this year, but, just as deadly, really, the same 3 or 4 teams that usually win it, whether there's, 25 or 10 teams, are still in there. So, when you win or do well on the event I did on Sunday, you really beat some very good anglers. So, hang your hat high on that one. Anyways, guys, that's my recap from Stony Lake. The Power of Wacky Worm. Lost a lot of lures there. A lot of Ned rigs, a lot of drop shot weights. It is what it is. That's probably why they call it Stony Lake. I would go back again. Really, it's only like an hour and 20 minutes from my house where the boat launch was. I would definitely go back there again. So thank you guys for watching. If you haven't checked out the tournament video, check out the tournament video. Have another tournament Saturday in the Bancroft region, I believe, unless something comes up. But thank you guys for watching, and take care.